Brought to you by How's That? First game free, download the app now.
Lakshman Sivaramakrishnan, who will be joining the elite panel of commentary for the Ashes, which begins on 8th of December. And sir, first of all, how do you see the series?
Thanks for having me. I think it'll be a well thought out series, and I'm hoping that to see some fabulous cricket from both sides. Playing in Australia is always a little difficult because the crowd will support Australia a great deal, and there's going to be, the English Barmy Army will be there. So there will be support for England through Barmy Army. But generally, you'll find a lot more support from the crowd for Australians and a lot more support from the pitches will support the Australian fast bowlers and Australian batsmen being used to those bouncy pitches. I think they'll fancy the chances of getting big runs. Overall, I would like to see interesting cricket, some good cricket, some positive cricket, and that is what Ashes is all about.
Well, all right. Just let me remind you that Mr. Lakshman Sivaramakrishnan would be there for the commentary on the Sony network. Of course, he'll be there on the Tamil commentary panel that would be live and exclusive on Sony 10.4 and Sony 6. Of course, you can listen to the English commentary. So you can have your alarm clocks on at 5:30 a.m. from 8th of December. So Pat Cummins has been named the captain. How difficult it would be a challenge for him to, just get on with the action straight away at the Ashes?
Well, Pat Cummins should have already started preparing. Once he's named captain, he should have already started preparing about analyzing the kind of spells that he'd bowled under other captains like Steve Smith or Aaron Finch. So he should analyze what he'd done in the past, how he was used in the past, and how he'd like to use himself. Sometimes when you're playing under a different captain, you have a sense of feeling that I should be bowling right now. Somebody else is doing it right now. So when he's the captain, and that gives him the opportunity to be able to bowl at the right time and to the right batsman. He will also have a record of the number of dismissal of each batsman that he's got against England. Somebody he finds it easier to get a wicket off. So he should analyze a lot of things, and he should also seek the guidance of Steve Smith, the vice captain, who from a batting perspective can guide him along. Steve Smith has already been captain of Australia, and we all know why he's not captain anymore. He's the vice captain. But Pat Cummins, I'm wishing him all the best because he's a lovely man and a great fast bowler. So hopefully, as a fast bowling captain, he'll do well for Australia.
And, considering what has happened in the lead up to this Ashes, Tim Paine stepping down as captain, and he's taken an indefinite break, and then a new captain has to be appointed, and he picks Steve Smith as his deputy. In fact, even Steve Smith's appointment has not been taken very, lightly by a lot of people within Australia. So, how do you see Australian team, considering what has happened with them in the lead up to this Ashes?
Well, the Australians are very, very tough mentally and physically and at the game. So that is what made Australia a big force to reckon with in the 90s and early 2000s. Australia mentally fight the battle. Their journalists also fight the battle with the team. So mental disintegration is what we talk about. When you tour Australia, the Australian media will come so hard at you. They will try to sideline Tim Paine's actions, whatever he's done, and try to break up the England team. What they blame is at their captain, because they believe once you chop off the neck, the rest of the body will wriggle out. So they will probably go at Joe Root. Joe Root is a difficult customer himself. He would have toured Australia quite a few times. He would know what to expect. So I think overall, Australia and the journalists will come hard at England, but England have the potential and the ability, and Joe Root as the captain and the top-class batsman should lead the way and make this a great series.
Will this be about two of the best modern-day Test batsmen, playing against each other, Joe Root versus Steve Smith, or will it be between the pace attack of the two sides, Josh Hazlewood, Mitchell Starc, and Pat Cummins from Australia, and of course Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad, they have Mark Wood, they have Chris Wokes. So what sort of a battle would that be?
I think it's the bowlers who are going to dominate. I think the batsmen will find it a little difficult, especially starting off in Brisbane. I mean, it's a bouncy pitch where a lot of people have struggled. India won the last test match that was played in Brisbane, and India are the only side to do it in the last 18 years, which shows that Australia have dominated in Brisbane, and England will find it harder. It's going to be the first test match, and starting in Brisbane, it'll be a huge challenge for England. But in any case, I think it's going to be a bowlers series. The fast bowlers from both the teams have some really big names and great talent that they possess. Not so much in the spin department, but in the fast bowling department, England have a fantastic attack. They have a lot of variations in terms of Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad bowling together, have picked up a lot of wickets. And then you have somebody like a Chris Stokes, somebody like a Mark Wood can be really quick. So I think they will have a lot of variations. And I think England bowlers will be very handy. I don't know if Australia are looking to pick up Mitchell Starc in the playing 11, because Mitchell Starc can be lethal if he is in good rhythm. He is more like Umesh Yadav, I mean, a rhythm bowler. If you're in good rhythm, then Mitchell Starc is the way to go. Otherwise, then Patrick Cummins will have to depend on his other bowlers to try and get into the action, like Josh Hazelwood, who's been fantastic in the IPL for the Chennai Super Kings, and also played a significant part in the T20 World Cup.
Right. So every time a big series like this one, is set to begin, we tend to bring in a lot of names, especially when you have somebody like Joe Root, Steve Smith playing there. If India is touring Australia or England, it would be Virat Kohli. So where do you rate these 2, 3, 4 players? If in Test cricket, Virat, Joe Root, Steve Smith, even Kane Williamson for that matter, because Joe Root suddenly has found his mojo back. It seems he was pretty good when England toured India. Then when India also went to England. So how do you see this setup?
Well, they're all different kinds of batsmen. Joe Root is a very steady player. Steve Smith, I mean, he's got his own technique where he goes a long way across and tries to fiddle around in the crease, is not stationary at the crease. So he's a different kind of player. Kane Williamson is a very orthodox player. Virat Kohli is an attacking batsman who plays the cover drive really well, but he also plays the flick shot from off stump. So these players are different kinds of players. So you'll need different plans to get all these 4 out. We need to get different plans in order. But the focus will be on Steve Smith. The focus will be on Joe Root, because Joe Root, if he bats wrong. And Steve Smith is similar. If he bats very long. So they get big hundreds, which will be favorable to their side. But I think overall, Kane Williamson has adapted very well to all formats of the game, and he's done really well. Since the focus is on the Ashes, I think definitely the names that you mentioned, Steve Smith and Joe Root, have to come good. Otherwise, the batting order for both sides is vulnerable, and they could be brittle and collapse at times.
And, when Pat Cummins was appointed as the captain, or rather when he wasn't appointed as the captain of Australian team, we generally tend to think that bowlers can't be good captains. So why is it that, bowlers are not preferred for captaincy?
No, bowlers can be good captains. Bowlers should actually be better captains, because they are thinking how to get a batsman out. So they are thinking, what kind of a field do I need? And they set the field. I'm hoping it remains that way, because in our times, we would have a discussion with the captain. This is how I'm trying to bowl. This is how I'm trying to get the batsman out, and where I'm going to bowl, what field do I want? And today's bowlers don't seem to be so proactive in terms of going in and asking the captain how to set a field, because they're quite happy with the field set by the captain and bowling tight overs in terms of maiden overs. And in Test cricket, it's believed that you bowl 4 maiden overs on the trot, and the next over, the 5th over, there's always a wicket-taking opportunity or a wicket has gone down.
Your prediction, the score line?
I would think might be a surprise that I'm thinking England might win the series, because they have a far superior bowling lineup. So I think I will say 60-40 in favor of England.
England touring Australia. and you're saying England could be.
Yeah.
You're favoring England.
Yeah,
And Ben
I think
Stokes,
60-40 to England. 60 to England, 40 to Australia.
Ben Stokes coming back into the team after a fairly lengthy layoff. That should also add strength to the team.
Huge strength. I mean, he's a match winner in terms of this batting and bowling, providing important breakthroughs. I think it's a big boost for the England side because the middle order is strengthened even more. They need not depend only on Joe Root. And if Joe Root and Ben Stokes get going, then it's a massive thing that England can depend on a huge score. I think a score of 500 would put the opposition under pressure, and England have the immunity and the ammunition to do so. And I'm thinking England is favourites.
So one last question, if I may ask, your memories of touring Australia?
It's hard. Like I said, it's very hard. You'll find the press going hard at you. You'll find, if you open the newspapers, how much support Australia gets. You'll find even the commentary being done, the support goes in favor of Australia. So I think for a touring side, it's always the most difficult place to play cricket in. And England are professional cricketers, and most of them were toured Australia in the past. And I'm sure they know what to expect. They will get their own support in terms of Barmy Army being there. But mentally, you've got to be really tough to play and play well in Australia.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Lakshman Sivaramakrishnan. He'll be live for the entire Ashes series between England and Australia that begins on 8th of December. He'll be there for the Tamil commentary that will be live and exclusive on Sony 10.4, while the English commentary would be on Sony 6. The entire Sony network will have the coverage live and exclusive. So do tune in. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.